Well, it started out when I first came to Los Angeles. I actually came to Hollywood because I wanted to work in the movie business. And I went to a film school, and one of the classes I took, I learned how to write synopses and do coverage on scripts. And so my first job was doing that for an agent and reading scripts and writing a synopsis. And then one of his clients was a producer who hired me to be his reader, and then he promoted me to become his head of development. And so that's really was the first full-time job I had in the industry. And for some time I worked in development, and I had always wanted to teach adults. So when I felt like I knew enough that I could help screenwriters, I started teaching at the same film school where I had begun. And then when I was working there, I got a job for UCLA Extension. And out of that grew the weekend seminar that I used to do all over the world. And I still lecture all over. I now do a one-day seminar. So it sort of went from being a development executive in Hollywood to lecturing. And out of the lecturing came my first book, Writing Screenplays That Sell. And between the lectures and the book, a lot of people were saying, well, would you read my script and give me your opinion? And so I started doing that. This was in the days when script consultant really didn't even exist as an occupation. And a number of us that have books and started doing that then. And so pretty soon I was doing more consulting than lecturing, and I stopped working in development myself. My goal when I first came to Hollywood was not to be a screenwriter. It wasn't to be anything in particular. I knew nothing about the film business. All I knew was I loved movies. I'd been seeing movies since I was a little kid. My father's best friend was the theater manager, so I got to see movies free in Salem, Oregon, where I grew up. And so I'd always, back in the back of my mind, wanted to work in the film business, but I did not go to a school where there were film classes even, let alone a degree or anything. So I just went there hoping to break in, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I might have vaguely thought I'd direct, but I didn't really even know all that was involved in that. But once I started working with scripts, that's what I really loved. Not writing scripts, but reading them and giving my opinions and working with writers, and that's still what I always have loved doing. The way I see my job as a script consultant is basically to help writers and filmmakers get their screenplay to a point where it's ready to shoot, or to get their screenplay to a point where they can sell a script or get work from it. So I might be working with a writer, and with any particular screenplay, you never know if it's going to sell, but if it's really good, somebody might read it and say, well, you're a very good writer, we'd like to hire you to do something else. So another way to think of it is, I want to find out what a writer's vision of the movie is, or the producers, or the directors, or sometimes the stars' vision of the movie is, and then close the gap between how they see the movie and what's on that page.